Woo!
Welcome! What was that? What, are you scared?
I was trying to. You counted down really fast, and I was trying to pull up the listener questions for later.
Why are you not prepared? We had 2 weeks, Ryan. 2 weeks to prepare for this episode, and you're not even ready.
I'm ready now. That it makes all the difference in the world, Brian.
Well, can I do the intro now? Are we good?
No, did I stop you? No,
yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, your vastly unpreparedness and your inability to be ready when I say 3, 2, 1, action, and you're like, what? Did you say action?
Well, usually you're like 3, 2, and then this time you're like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, because I'm excited. We spent 2 weeks away from everybody, and I'm excited to be back. Apparently, you are not, because you're probably looking at porn on your phone. Let's be real. You are away from your wife, and you are probably looking at porn on your phone. Just a minute.
I texted. I said, Brian, we're doing the show tonight. Are you feeling all right this week?
Hey, dude, just a minute. Everybody looks at porn on their phone. No one is judging you.
Responded even more. So.
I mean, I'm judging you, but nobody else is judging you. It's fine.
Yeah. Everyone judges you, Brian. So just.
And they always find me. They always find me guilty of being sexy. Woo!
Are we gonna do the intro now?
Welcome everybody to episode 188 of the Geek Dad Report, the one show dedicated, formulated, specially created, and to bringing everybody all the nerd news they need to know, all while putting a beautiful smile on your beautiful faces. I am Brian, the hostess with the absolutely sexiest mostest.
And I'm Ryan, who is far sexier than Brian, but I just don't have to flaunt it.
What? We need to put this to the vote.
Our wives don't count.
Speak for yourself.
And then who else is gonna vote?
You're just mad because you know your wife will vote for me. That's what.
My wife would never vote for you.
That's bullshit.
I can guarantee that one right now.
That's probably true.
Yeah. Considering,
Well, she's the only one. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else. What are we talking about?
We'll see. I'll put up a post after this.
We're gonna do a Twitter poll.
Can you do those poll things, or is that only on Twitter? You can do the poll things.
I don't think you can do it on Facebook. Maybe just Twitter. I don't know. Just don't give somebody a third option, or the third option will win in a landslide.
Yeah, third option always wins.
You only can vote for me or Ryan. Me, who's sexier, me, Ryan, or this Rock? The Rock will win. Yeah. 100%. Anyway, all right. Well, what'd I say? Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry we missed last week. We wanted to record, but my beloved, blessed Seattle Seahawks beat the crap out of the stupid 0-3 Steelers, and Ryan could not drag himself off the hole he dug in his own house. He went through the floorboards, dug a big hole, and just laid there to die for a week. And I couldn't get him out of his own misery and suffering enough to do the show. So we had to take some time off so he could put himself together. Are you doing okay? I'm kind of sad. I'm sorry that I was being so mean to you earlier because I know you're really suffering right now. So let me give you an internet bro hug here. Come here.
I was perfectly fine with it because I didn't really watch any of the game. Because I was out at my daughter's field hockey event.
Neither did Big Ben because he's in the back room, hurt like a loser.
Yeah, apparently we lost our quarterback. It's all right.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, we got Rudolph, who's
a red-nosed reindeer.
He got a first down in the almost at the end of the third quarter.
Let me get this right. You've hired a red-nosed reindeer to be your quarterback.
I will give that the best shot I can.
I mean, all your teammates might get some good presents, but I don't know if they're going to win a lot of games, Ryan.
Yeah. All I can say is that from what I did watch of the game, it wasn't worth watching as a Steelers fan. But
it's pretty great.
I will give you credit that you could have said a lot worse things, and you didn't.
All bullshit aside, I'm not a jerk. It was nice too. It is nice that I can hold that over you all year, though. I'm glad we got out of the way early, so I can get the maximum maximum goodness out of this victory.
Mm-hmm. So, but I'm just really glad the Steelers came back last week. After that huge loss to the Seahawks, and let's see what happened. Oh yeah, they lost again. So
to the Niners.
Yeah, to the 49ers. And sadly, I had picked up Garoppolo and I forgot that I had him on my fantasy team.
Garoppolo is not worth having. I'm just going to say that right now. I mean, he's no Russell Wilson. Hey, well, you know what? Whatever. We can all sit in misery this weekend because the real reason we were off last week is because it was my anniversary with my wife, so we took the weekend and went away, so I was not able to record. But joke's on me. My anniversary present to my wife was tickets to the Seahawks Saints game. Well, that was a bad anniversary present.
Yeah,
it was a real bad present.
Not the best game.
I don't know what the Hawks did, but it wasn't football. I'm not sure what's going on there, but we're just going to move past that.
It was a good time to just drink.
It was.
And be at a sporting event.
We drank a lot. We took the train in, so we sat on the train with our train sodas, had a few cocktails. Yeah. I've never made a screwdriver in a train bathroom before. That was interesting, but it was fun.
You seriously made screwdrivers in the bathroom?
So my wife bought all these travel shots, and so we had them in our pockets, right? And we forgot to grab something to drink to mix them with on the train. So we're like, fuck. And so we went and got some, we went through, I think, Carl's Jr. or something, and got some breakfast burritos, and they gave us those little orange juices, and we hadn't drank them. We hadn't drank them yet because we were like a rock star on the way to the train station. And I was like, oh, give me those orange juices. So I stuck them in my pocket, and we got on the train. So I went in the bathroom, and I'm pouring vodka in these orange juices. But every time, I'm trying to dump it in, every time the train's, rocking and stopping, I'm like, fuck. Best part is, I go into the bathroom, there was no line. I get out, and there's 8 people waiting in line to use the bathroom, and I've been in there for 10 minutes trying to make screwdrivers.
It probably just smelled like vodka.
Probably. Listen, that's how the train bathrooms always smell, like vodka anyway, so let's be real.
It is Seattle, so I guess,
Shit, you live in Philadelphia. Yeah, we smell like vodka. You guys smell like poop. I don't hear it.
I do not use the public transit.
There's a reason why it's called the Hershey Highway down there.
No, I did the public transit when I first moved to Philadelphia, and my bus stop was literally in the worst part of town, where I had to make my transition to the bus that would take me to work. That was some scary crap, dude.
Yeah, I've used some public transportation in a lot of different cities, and sometimes it is not the experience you were hoping for. But anyway, on the way back from the game, I'm like, God, I look at my wife, I'm like, God, that was a shitty game. I was like, well, your anniversary present was way better than the one I gave you, because I've got to show you guys what me and my wife, we went away for the weekend, and she surprised me with a gift because she wanted me to have something to do. Well, something else to do over our weekends. Over our weekend without the kids. And so she surprised me with this, and it's pretty good. Mind you, well, should I show it or no? So my wife tells me, before I show you this cool present, she tells me, because I showed everybody I've been building those Harry Potter Legos, she told me, no more Legos. If I get any more Legos, she's going to divorce me. And for our secret anniversary present, she buys me the Millennium Falcon Legos. Look at this.
She had to throw you off the scent.
She did. So this is the Solo. This is not the $800 Millennium Falcon. That probably would not fit in the screen. This is the much more reasonably priced Millennium Falcon from Solo. It's got the detachable like that. Woo, Millennium Falcon.
Now I have to ask Brian, was her secret present that you gave her just as good? Or was it just you, and you just wrapped a bow down there, and you said, surprise!
I'm trying to figure out how to answer this, because for her, it was never really a secret that it was going to be a present. It was just, hey, babe, anniversary time. Or are you talking about the Seahawks tickets? Which one are we talking about? I don't know.
Okay.
Dude, I say we had 3 days at a house with no kids.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what that's like.
Bank a chicka, wow, wow.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Be straight naked all the time.
It was. It was great. It was a lot of drinks.
Yeah.
We watched a lot of movies too.
Solo, was in the Millennium Falcon all by himself, he would just fly it naked.
Probably does. I don't think Chewie cares. Chewie's naked all the time. I don't think his bandolier. True. I don't think his bandolier counts as underwear.
Unless it's like covering up the special Wookiee private parts, I guess.
Oh my god. Do you think a Wookiee's like a dog, or it's like Red Rocket?
I don't know.
I hope not. Anyway, we were talking about. Oh yeah, we did lots of things besides that though. We also watched movies. She'd never seen Terminator, so we watched Terminator 1 and 2. She'd never seen Kill Bill, so we watched Kill Bill 1 and 2. What else did we watch? Watched the Seahawks beat the Steelers down. That was pretty fun. That was a great anniversary present, honestly.
That does not count. Wasn't it one of your kids' birthdays or something too?
Nah, that was when we got home. Yeah, my daughter, my youngest, was born the day after my anniversary, which is always great. But yeah, so we had a good time. We drank, we ate too much food. Watched the Hawks dismantle the terrible Steelers. But the whole time that we weren't...
We keep skipping over the Saints game, but, I'll let it...
That game never happened. But, when we weren't... we went and checked out this really cool lighthouse. We got to walk up to the top of the tallest lighthouse in Washington. It's pretty cool. It's like 100...
Where's that?
It's like 170 feet. I was in Westport.
Oh, okay.
Kind of down by Ocean Shores. There's this really cool... I got to meet this really cool old guy who had like a hoarder Star Wars store down in Aberdeen. It's pretty cool. He took pictures of my Star Wars tattoos and put them on his ceiling.
Is the lighthouse like privately owned, or is it?
Yeah, I think it's privately owned now. But I mean, if they're like part of some like conservation to try and restore lighthouses, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been in a lighthouse, so I wanted to go. So I talked the missus into going, and she didn't want to go at first. But by the time we did it, she's like, "That was pretty cool." Yeah. So you get to walk all the way up, and like I said, it's about 170 feet. So there's a lot of steps, but I mean, it went by pretty fast. So you could kind of wind up to the top, and then it was just really cool seeing how they do the lighthouse. And it's funny. So where you're sitting when you go into the lighthouse, you're like, there's trees everywhere. You can't why is this spot for a lighthouse? But when you get to the top, you're like, oh, it doesn't need to actually be right near the water. It just needs to be at the high point.
Yeah.
And so, but it's pretty cool, man. You can see the ocean as far as the eye can see. It was pretty cool. I'm glad. If anybody has an opportunity to go in a lighthouse and you've never done it, I mean, it's not something you do every time you go on vacation, but like a one-time thing, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always wanted to check it out. I don't think I've ever been to a White House, not a White House, but a lighthouse.
I'd like to go to the White House too eventually. Once they get rid of the trash, scrub that thing clean. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what I mean.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about.
We'll dive into that some other time.
But anyway, yeah. So we did that. But when we were at the house and not doing that other thing, we were watching TV and I was putting this thing together. It honestly took all 3 days to put it together. It's about 1,600 pieces. Mm-hmm. A lot of pieces, but it's pretty cool. This whole episode will not be Lego show and tell, but I want to show everybody my cool handiwork.
And the real Millennium Falcon does not open like that. Just so people know.
So there you go. Look at that. Everybody, there's inside. You have the engine room. You have a kitchen, which I don't think we ever saw in the movies. You have the derelict board, the Jurassic board here. Now, this is the solo version, so they don't have benches. They got the yellow seats. And then this is a hallway. There's a cool ramp. They got the ramp you can go in. So, mm-hmm. It comes with Kira, Han, Lando, Chewie, some rando characters. I don't know who it is. The like slave owner dude on the Kessel.
Mm. It's
got a droid. It's got some red robot that I don't know. So it's kind of cool. So you got the turrets on the bottom and the top here. See the turret?
Yeah.
What's cool is if you go here in the middle, you can actually slide out the little where you could put a guy on each side. You know where they fire from the turrets.
Mm-hmm. Legos are fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I'm not gonna show you because I don't want to blind myself. But there's right here. You can see the little red things. Those actually fire. They're missiles. They're little trigger points, and they soar. It's pretty cool. And then something else I thought was pretty cool when I first got this. I'm like, what is this? But see that blue thing on the back, the engine?
Yeah.
If you look closely, it's actually a tube.
So you open up the bag and you're like, why is there a tube in my Legos?
Why is there this blue tube in this Lego set. I've never seen this before. I didn't even know what it was for. And then when you get to the engine part, you're like, oh, it's pretty smart. It's pretty cool. And then you got the the escape pod. This thing opens up too.
You don't need to escape. Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go. So my wife is the best and gives me the coolest anniversary present. So like I said, my gift to her was not nearly as cool as this.
Pretty sweet, man.
I mean, it might have been as cool as this if stupid Seahawks would have showed up and beat the Saints, but whatever.
You know, Brian, we can't all get what we want. And as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan this season, I can tell you that.
You know that from first-hand experiences.
I know from experience. So, but let's see, my 2 weeks, my kids had started up all their fall sports. So I've been, my son has 2 days a week where we do not have sports for him. Because he has his primary team and he has a secondary team. So, and then my daughter is doing field hockey. Like very East Coast feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, cause they got like the little tiny curved sticks and they're just kind of like hunching over and like, like smacking them along and stuff like that. It's actually pretty fun. And she wears like the goggles.
I'm not gonna lie, this all sounds terrible. It sounds,
but they're like.
This sounds like you have no time for like watching TV.
Dude, my wife and I have been we restarted Band of Brothers. We haven't watched it in like 10, 15 years. Like, because it came out a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, we just decided to start rewatching that. And so we got like 1 hour a day, maybe, where we can like do something that we want. So.
Well, if you only have 1 hour a day to do something you want, I suggest other things.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, I'm back in Denver, right now. That's where I've been doing every single day this week. I'll go home on Saturday. So, it's just been a fun kid and work filled 2 weeks. So, I don't get to even have time. I started reading some comics. I read the Doomsday Clock, which is so good. I really wish that the DC app would put all the comics of something on there, because they only have the 6. Mm-hmm. And I think they're on like issue 11 or 12 right now. So it's just waiting for them to drop the other 6, or pirate that stuff. But
we don't condone that on this show, Ryan. You goddamn thief.
And so I started Infinite Crisis, which I guess kind of leads into like some of the CW stuff that's been happening lately. So,
dude, it's pretty good stuff. Just keep reading.
At least we'll understand what is happening because I read the comic.
Nice.
So,
well, funny you mentioned CW. We actually have we have some CW Infinite Crisis news on this show. In fact, we actually have a very packed show for everyone since we've been gone for a couple weeks. Besides this witty banter you guys are getting currently right now, we have a whole bunch of news. We got 2 weeks worth of news. Not really as much as you would think, but some good stuff there. We've got a question from the Faithful One.
Woo!
I mean, we might have had 2, but Faithful 50 General Christine wants to see you fired, so she apparently didn't give us anything.
Apparently we have to give her like a very specific set in order for her to ask a question.
Or maybe you should just make better post questions. That's all I'm saying. And then we also have some recommendations. And you got about 40 more minutes of us. So, I mean, like I said, it's a great show. Hope you stick around to the end. If you don't, well, you should. I don't know what else to say. But what do you think, Ryan? Should we get into the ninja news? I think we should.
I think we should.
We got some good stuff. We got some good Star Wars stuff that we're going to lead off with. So, on that note, we are going to fly into the Kessel Run of knowledge. We're going to eject the escape pod. Pew! Hang on. I'm so excited. Where'd it go? God damn it. Oh, it's killing. Whatever. I'm so excited. We're gonna eject the escape pod. That was worth it, definitely. Into the chasm of information.
And then we'll fast forward a few years, and we'll finish it off with the pork roast of a nice fire roasted pork while you sit in the cockpit and eat it. So,
Man, I set you up so good, and if I were to take these Legos and smash them on the ground, that's what you just did.
You know what? I was kind of actually hoping that you would like break a piece off or something like that, because usually when you break one thing off, then like everything kind of starts.
Not
to
the
fall
way I
apart.
build them, Ryan.
When I had tears.
I'm a goddamn master Lego builder. You seen that movie? Yeah.
I know for a fact you don't super glue it, Brian.
I'm like Will Ferrell, but not rich, that funny, but definitely more handsome.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of Solo, apparently Disney Plus is going to continue the adventures of Han Solo, Chewbacca, and the cast and crew from Solo, a Star Wars story. So if you were wondering what happened to Darth Maul, spoiler alert, what happens to Kira? Who knows? Well, now we're going to know. Mini-series are rumored to be coming from Disney Plus, and this apparently is one of them. The series is not supposed to focus on Han and Chewie, but kind of on the underbelly and, everything that's like the, what do they call them? The Crimson Dawn, that whole gangster organization with a lot of the smugglers popping in and out. So I don't know if they can get Kira. She has moved on to, what's her name? Khaleesi. When do I know her real name?
Yeah. What about Donald Glover? I think he should be.
The Queen of the Mother of Dragons. She has gone on to try and do movies. I don't know if she wants to come back and do a TV show. And same with Glover. I don't know if he wants to do more, or Alden Ehrenreich. Hopefully they've all signed on and they're under contract, so they have to, and Disney can make them.
At least if they could just do like a 4-episode show. They don't have to do like a full long season. Just do like 4 episodes, and
I would be perfectly happy if we got a 10 episode season of the continuing saga of the universe set up from Solo. Well, I guess the Star Wars universe, but of that time period and what the story arcs that they did in that show or in that movie. I'd be perfectly cool out of 10 episodes if in 4 episodes you get a 2-part arc that's that's Han and Chewie, maybe an episode that's Lando, or a 2-part episode that's Lando. So if you give me 4 episodes with Han, Chewie, and Lando, and maybe Kira, and the rest 6 or everything else, I'd be totally okay with that. That'd be really cool.
Well, here's the thing, though. Is The Mandalorian going to be setting a visual and movie quality standard?
Well, to be honest,
all the other shows are going to have to start meeting.
Oh, I'm sure. I do not anticipate anything that's Star Wars that comes to Disney Plus that's live action. I 100% believe that Disney is like, it cannot look cheap. It has to look like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Period.
And here's $500 million.
Yeah, this isn't a scenario like with CW where they can, where the Flash and Arrow, they look good, but they look like TV shows, right? This isn't a different universe that you can just do stuff. This is the Star Wars universe that has to look and match the movies. Now, I mean, listen, each one of those movies costs $200 million, and we're getting $100 million in 10 episodes. So no episode of The Mandalorian is going to look like, The Force Awakens, right? But you can still make it look good, and you can make it look like Return of the Jedi, or you can make it look like, that's the beauty of Star Wars, especially if you do the era of Solo or the right after Return of the Jedi, is you can make it kind of look gritty and grimy and realistic, and it still will look like Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, I don't care. I want all of the Star Wars. I personally, Solo was one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I thought it was super fun. Like, of all the movies, it was just fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really kind of bummed we're not getting a sequel. So if we're going to get a spinoff that kind of ties up some of the storylines that they started in this, and maybe get more Alden Ehrenreich and more Chewie and Lando, I'm all for it.
Yeah. You know what? I just noticed that your shirt is Chewie is carrying C-3PO.
Yeah.
I didn't notice. For some reason, I noticed C-3PO, and then Chewie just kind of came into my vision. Like, oh, it's Chewie on his shirt.
I got your back, man. What do you think? Where's that? Why do you think I put there's Chewie? Why do you think I put C-3PO poking out behind Chewie?
Yeah.
Because he got his back, yo.
You're I just noticed it.
Yeah. I love this shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts. Let's see what else. We got a little more Star Wars news. There's actually quite a bit of Star Wars news. Let's see here. We're only 3 months away from episode 9. That's not really news, but I just wanted to mention it because I'm super excited.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm stalling to get to my other news. So apparently Bob Iger, may know, he's the CEO of Disney. His memoirs just recently came out, and one of the things that they talk about in the memoirs is kind of the Disney acquisition of Star Wars, his relationship with George Lucas, what he felt happened with Solo, the box office failure of Solo. I don't think he's correct. I do think he's not necessarily wrong in some aspects. I personally think one of the biggest problems with Solo is they rushed it out too fast, didn't put the Disney marketing behind it, and they said, this movie says Star Wars, so people are just going to go, so we're not going to put as much advertising behind it. We're going to rush it out in May instead of keeping it on track for December and giving the fans who were, I love The Last Jedi. I think it's a great movie, but it definitely was decisive. Giving people a whole year to just kind of digest The Last Jedi and getting ready for Solo would have been a much better play, I think, for Solo. Unfortunately, Solo got caught right in the middle of all this hoopla around The Last Jedi. None of us had even really seen Alden Ehrenreich. Disney kept hiding him. I don't think anybody wanted him to come out and see him as Solo, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, Bob Iger came out and he admits that, to his opinion, that they've given us too much Star Wars too fast, and that is why the reception of Solo has been the way it is. And I can't disagree more. I don't think we've gotten too much Star Wars. I don't think the quality hasn't been there. I don't think they've rushed any of it, and I love everything that Disney's done.
Disney's just going through that phase where they're really worried that they're with their lover, and their lover being the fan base. Yeah. And that they might have pumped and dumped a little bit too quickly, and they're just hoping that I felt satisfied as Disney because I got all the monies, but I don't know if the fans were satisfied with my pump and dump. And
I'm not really sure about this analogy. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know where I was going with that, but
I think I get what you're trying to say. Listen, here's the deal. I don't think Disney was prepared to deal with a good chunk of the fan base that was butthurt, and I don't think they understood the nerd rage that came from them honestly getting rid of all the expanded universe. The Last Jedi backlash is a direct response to the getting rid of all the old Star Wars canon, the books, the games, all of that. The Force Awakens was a good movie, and no matter what they did, it's hard to criticize it. And Rogue One was basically like a fanboy wet dream. It was everything you'd hope to see in an old Star Wars movie. It was complete fan service. So once again, it's hard for the fans to really complain. The Last Jedi was the first Star Wars movie that tried to do something different, and especially do something different with Luke Skywalker. And everybody who was harboring all this deep-seated anger just unleashed it on Disney. And I do think you need a happy fan base. This is a huge property. And and I think Disney's had so much success with Marvel. I think they just expected the same thing. But unfortunately, the Marvel fan base is not the Star Wars fan base. And as much as I love my fellow Star Wars fans, there's a lot of really uppity Star Wars fans.
It's this thing about fan bases and the social media world is that the voice of the few
can be real loud.
Oftentimes is 100 times louder than some meek fan who's completely upset.
I also
and social media is really kind of making it's. I don't want to say it's destroying fandom because there's always going to be a strong sense of community for people that are really passionate about what they care about, and they will protect it, as much as they can. But it sure as hell takes a lot of the fun out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think I've heard things where why is the Star Wars fan so toxic? And I don't think most Star Wars fans are toxic. I think there's a small segment of the Star Wars fan base that is toxic. And, it does seem, I think Star Wars, because it was one of the big first movie nerd franchises that you could really, I know there's the Star Trek was out before Star Wars, but Star Wars was first big one, right? And it was, the movies were cool. And then you had all this expanded universe that you could get behind, and people just love Star Wars. So I just think that fans' ownership of Star Wars, I don't know any other franchise that people feel like.
They don't have any ownership of Star Wars.
I know, but they feel they do. That's what's so crazy about Star Wars. Star Wars connects with people on such a deep level that the ownership of the fans take over this property is unlike any other that I've ever seen. Like, I mean, Marvel, I think there's so many comics and so many stories. People do take ownership over certain characters, but not over stories and over the entire universe. You know, Star Wars people, like, the fans feel like they own everything in the Star Wars universe. And if you mess it even a little bit, they just go crazy. And yeah. I think Disney, that's what Disney has to figure out. They need to figure out how to listen to what they need to listen to, direct it in a way that makes people happy, but not just listen to everyone being angry and thinking that it's literally everyone. No, it's a small segment of people.
Or they can just keep doing what they've been doing, because obviously they're making
the last Jedi made
money that's being shot out of a fire hose cannon.
The Last Jedi, for a movie that a lot of Star Wars fans consider to be the most abominable Star Wars thing ever created, made $1.3 billion. And that's with no market in China. $1.3 billion. It was the number one downloaded movie on Netflix the entire year when it first came out. And it was the number one selling Blu-ray and digital download movie of 2018. So don't tell me that The Last Jedi was this toxic trash heap that is just terrible and nobody liked.
And you clearly can't have female leads, because obviously you can't have females, running Star Wars.
Oh, God, don't even get me started on the toxic SJW, anti-SJW people.
The marketing, like the toys and everything.
Dude,
again.
You know how many people ask me why? Why do I have a Rey tattoo? Like, why Rey? And I'm like, because Rey's fucking awesome. She's great. I love Rey. She's literally one of my top 5 favorite Star Wars characters. What?
I said, who else would you get? You got Kylo Ren. Or who else would you get from the
I've
new
had people say, Kylo. Rey, really? And I'm like, Rey's great. I fucking love Rey. I love Rey. She's one of my favorite characters.
Naked Luke sitting on a rock drinking orange milk?
I don't know, man. It's just whatever. I don't want to sit here and bash the fan base. I mean, anybody who doesn't like The Last Jedi, we've had this conversation a million times. You're absolutely I just think, personally, what I would like to see from Disney, especially since they're doing the shows, I think Star Wars can support, the universe is big enough that it can support one movie a year, put it out around Christmas, give us something to look forward to every year at the end of the year, and give us a couple shows during the year. Give us, an Obi-Wan and a Mandalorian. Give us 2-3 shows, or maybe even like 4 or 5 shows to binge watch, and just give us one movie every year.
The fan base will pay for it.
Yeah, so. We'll all pay for it. I think Star Wars is in good hands. I think Disney knows what they're doing. And it's not even Disney. And this is what I don't get. Like, Lucasfilms is making these. Kathleen Kennedy, who helped make all the other movies, are also, they're making Star Wars. It's, Disney's just paying for
it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
and they're not going to change anything anytime soon.
No.
They're on a railway of what they want the future to be for Star Wars, and they may move the track this way.
Listen,
they're always going to swerve and go right back to where they want it to go.
You know what? I don't mind them resetting after Episode 9. I'm super excited for Episode 9. They said it's going to be 3 years before we get the next trilogy. Okay, fine. If they've got all of these TV shows coming that look, if they look like anything like The Mandalorian, I'm really excited for them. You know what? Yes. Okay, get the fan base time to just chillax a little bit. Let's enjoy the Skywalker saga, and let's look forward to the next phase. We talked about Rian Johnson. Some of the rumor is that Daisy Ridley may come back for Rey in some of the Rian Johnson movies. Knights of the Old Republic, I'm super excited for that series. And just today they announced that Kevin Feige is going to produce a Star Wars movie. So he's working with Kathleen Kennedy because he loves the universe and wants to create a Star Wars movie. So they're working on a story, a plan. Kevin Feige, the guy who made all the Marvel movies that we all love. I don't know if it's a bad sign for Marvel. Maybe he's like, this Marvel thing's ran out. I'm going to go over to Star Wars for a bit. No, I think he's just doing one movie because he loves it.
And just remember, Disney needs to... they can do everything to appease our generation of Star Wars fans and, the Gen X and I don't really think baby boomers. But, yes, they could just put all their energy into us. We're all going to die at some point. Our kids...
Speak for yourself, Ryan. Hey, don't you put that on me.
and they have to plan for the future. They can't
Yeah.
just keep trying. They can't just keep hammering on one focus group. They gotta try and expand. I mean, doing new things and doing things that the younger generation are actually talking about, and what they want to see. They want to see diversity in characters. They want to see females, in the leading roles. Girls make up 50% of the audience, people.
Well, not just that. My two daughters, guess what their favorite Star Wars movie? Guess what one of their favorite Star Wars movies, the one they've watched probably the most over the last year, is The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
They love it. You know what? I still remember we watched it with my youngest, and when Princess Leia uses the Force through space, she goes, oh, she's using the Force. I'm like, oh, look, my 7-year-old gets it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And my wife, who is a casual Star Wars fan, can't remember barely any of the names of the people, but she follows along. It's a little confusing for her because the order, I had her watch them like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and just I should have had her watch them 1 through 9. But she watched The Last Jedi and she goes, yeah, I like that movie. It was different than I thought it would be. She goes, it was really good. She goes, you know what I really liked about it? What? I go, what? She goes, it kind of helped everything else make sense of all the movies. It kind of tied everything together, like with Yoda and like Luke and the training and Anakin and Kylo. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. Actually, this movie helped me make sense of the whole saga. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Look at that. Suck it, fanboys.
Yeah. Eat it.
Yeah. All right.
But I think we could probably spend a whole episode.
Man, I could talk Star Wars. I mean, we could literally turn this into a Star Wars podcast, and we could fill it with content literally every week.
We should ask our friend Alan if he's available.
Yeah, well, he's doing his own thing, man. Apparently, I was looking over. If anybody wants a fun Star Wars podcast to actually check out, our friends over at Idiots Array do a great job. But one of their co-hosts, Ryder, he's a big Bachelor and Downtown Abbey fan. And so they're having a hotly contested poll right now on Twitter on whether he should be allowed to talk about the Downtown Abbey movie. I voted yes, Ryder. Probably don't watch our show, but if you do, I voted yes. All right. Here, let's move on to the rest of the news. We ran a little long on Star Wars, so I'm going to blow through some of these smaller ones. If there's something you want to talk about, just let me know.
Sounds good.
Let's see here. South Park has been renewed for 3 more seasons. So rumors that Trey and Matt, we're going to call it quits on South Park, apparently are no longer. And we're going to get at least 3 more years of South Park.
We were in high school when it started, right?
Dude, yes. I was a junior in high school when South Park started.
Man.
I think it's going to be, last season was season 18, so this will be 21. I think 21, 22, so whatever. J.J. Abrams has found a new home. He has left Paramount and has signed, taken his Bad Robot mega producing studio and has signed with Warner Brothers. So this is actually a pretty big studio he is working with. No word yet on what he's going to be working on specifically. Of course, the rumor mill is going insane, saying that he's going to be spearheading. He's going to be the Kevin Feige of the new DC universe. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't imagine that Warner's not going to at least attempt to try and get him to help a little bit with their DC universe, but he is signed on to do some movies, TV, games. It's a production deal, so he'll probably direct a few movies for Warner Brothers, but he'll do a lot of different things behind the scenes for him. So
the DC universe is going to remain a big, for a while.
Listen, so. I'm gonna give my hot take. They brought in J.J. Abrams not to spearhead the DC universe, but they're gonna have him help spearhead a Harry Potter universe for their streaming service.
Ooh, that I would pay for because my kids and my wife would force me to do it. So.
I literally stream Harry Potter weekly on my VUDU app because we all get drunk and decide we got to figure out a movie, so we end up watching Goblet of Fire again. Great movie.
Good one, though. I like
that. Yet another fantasy franchise that we still talk about, and probably going to talk about a lot in the upcoming year, is Game of Thrones. Just won a whole bunch of Emmys. But I don't really give a shit about the Emmys, so we're not going to talk Emmys on this show. If you want to know who the Emmy winners were, Google Emmy winners.
Yeah, so let's see. So this is the second one, right?
Yeah, so Game of Thrones is announced. well, again, Game of Thrones. HBO has announced that they have another prequel series that is really close to being ordered to pilot. The script is done. It's being reviewed, but it sounds like everything's going to be a go. So basically that means they're going to make a pilot for it and check it out. And if they like it, they'll greenlight it to series. This is the second show. The first show was, 10,000 years in the past, kind of the rise. Maybe, probably the rise of the Lannisters at some point, the rise of the Starks.
Oh, the Lannisters don't come for a long time.
Well, one of the houses, but the house, maybe at the end of the show, because I know one of the house that lives in Castle Rock is the house that the Lannisters took over.
The Casterleys.
The Casterleys, is that who they are? Anyway, so they were one of the main focuses of the show. The Starks, obviously, and the building the wall and the White Walker. Well, the second series that they're working on is the Rise of the Targaryen. So this is basically loosely based on, what was it, Fire and Blood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Targaryen companion book that George R. R. Martin wrote along with his Game of Thrones series. So that is currently in the works. So you may get one show about a lot of direwolves and one show about dragons, which would still make the series about fire and ice, I guess.
And just remember, the original Targaryens that came over to Westeros, Baelor, that dragon, made Dany's dragon like a medium-sized baby dragon.
Yeah, because I think Drogon was the biggest they had since
Baelor or whatever.
Yeah, the Dread or whatever. But
yeah, the Dread.
But if that show happens, get ready for a lot of brother-sister humping because...
Yeah. You're never going to see any direwolf in CG doing anything cool, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because all the money is going to go to the dragon.
So Amazon has released some data on their series The Boys, and I'm guessing they released this data because it proved that The Boys was, in fact, more popular than all the Marvel Netflix shows combined. Yeah, The Boys had more downloads and was talked about more on social media than all of the other series.
Now, was there any merchandise other than the show?
Not really, take this data this with a grain of salt. I mean, a grain of salt. Netflix doesn't really release their numbers. Amazon knows that. So unless Netflix comes out and releases all their numbers, there's no way to not prove that Amazon's... But I will say that I just mentioned it because I really like The Boys, and anybody who hasn't seen it should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I know I mentioned it one time thinking no one was going to understand who I was talking about, and it turned out the entire room had watched it. So
yeah, it is definitely a different comic book series. Speaking of different comic book, we got our first real poster for Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, and it looks fucking weird. I don't even... This is going to be the weirdest comic movie possibly of all time.
Are you sure? Not than that new Joker movie?
I think this might be even weirder than that Joker movie. I honestly, I'll probably watch this, but I have zero desire to watch this movie.
So you're saying if this was ground level and this was your expectation bar, it would be...
I hope it's good. And this has nothing to do with the fact that it's almost an all-female cast. I like movies with all-female casts, and I really like Ewan McGregor. He's the bad guy in this. I'm just not a big fan of Harley Quinn in general. Mm-hmm. And nothing I've seen about this so far gets me even remotely excited for it.
So, and I'm not sure.
I feel like this movie and the Joker might both be movies I just rent when they come out on video.
Yeah, very much.
All right, let's see here. What else we got? A little bit earlier, we talked about Infinite Crisis coming into CW. The 5-episode crossover just continues to add more and more people. One of the big names and kind of big people that everybody's been hoping to get in this has finally been confirmed. We got Tom Welling and Erica Durance have signed on to reprise their roles as Clark Kent and Lois Lane from Smallville in the crossover. So all the Smallville fans rejoice. We can all sing Remy Zero again. Somebody save me. I can't hit notes that high. Sorry.
I watched the first 3 seasons of Smallville.
I watched every season of Smallville.
I mean, I know you did.
I watched all of them twice.
Wow.
Not twice. Whatever. But I'm excited for it. So I think it's going to be a really good crossover. So that's coming soon. Something that's not going to be coming soon, apparently, is we announced a while ago that Hulu was picking up the live-action Ghost Rider series. It was going to be a spinoff from the Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Gabriel Luna. Apparently, no. That is no longer going to happen. That has been killed at Hulu. Rumors are flying that Kevin Feige has stepped in and said we're using Ghost Rider in a movie, so you can't have him.
Wait. So they're going to do a movie? And I don't know. I would rather have a TV show. I want like a long Ghost Rider story.
If I had to guess with the timing, I think we may be getting a Ghost Rider. It could also be that we're going to get a Ghost Rider Disney Plus series instead of... Because Marvel basically came out and said the Disney Plus Marvel shows are part of the MCU, but the other ones are not. So anything like the Runaways, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all that stuff is officially not part of the MCU.
It's just Disney's got way too much. I just hope they don't complicate things.
I hope they complicate it all. I paid for 3 years.
All right, if it's on Hulu. Not tying in with anything.
I prepaid for 3 years of Disney Plus. I say keep all the characters and put them on all the shows. Listen, we got a Blade movie and a Moon Knight series coming. You could easily tie Ghost Rider into both of those. So
yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Let's see. Speaking of superhero series, apparently, so Arrow is coming to an end this season, but apparently there is a spinoff in the works. I think the show, the titles they're working with right now is called The Canaries. It's based on the Canaries from the flash forwards of Arrow. So the show would center around the Black Canary from Universe 2, Black Canary from Universe 1, and Oliver Queen's daughter from the show. So I really liked the flash forwards from last season. I really liked Oliver Queen's, I forget her name, but I liked her a lot in the show. So I think it'd be pretty cool. I'd be okay with that.
I look forward to saying that I'm going to watch it at some point.
Another show that's coming to an end is Supernatural. The final season is upon us. There's a cool trailer. They had a really badass poster. They're giving away tour T-shirts at Hot Topics or something, and it looks to be a good final season, a good send off for them. But one of the show's stars, Jared Padalecki, apparently has his next gig lined up. He is starring Ryan in a reboot show. Now, normally I would say, come on. But I'm actually really excited for this. He's going to be starring as Walker, Texas Ranger, in the new show called Walker, Texas Ranger.
Now, is Chuck Norris going to be in there like an old guy?
I don't know, hopefully.
I
don't know. I don't know if Chuck Norris is probably on board with this. Chuck Norris probably still thinks he should be Walker, Texas Ranger.
Dude, honestly, I watched like a couple of them like super late at night, and that was about it.
That was never really my favorite show growing up, but I don't care. I like Jared Padalecki. He's great.
Yeah.
We have a new trailer for Frozen 2. I didn't watch it because fuck it, I don't care, and I'm gonna have to go see this movie anyway. So I'll let everybody know how Frozen 2 is in November when I have to go see it.
Everyone's gonna make me watch it.
And then let's see what else we got. The NBC Universal is jumping into the streaming service network wars. We kind of had mentioned it before. They were thinking about it. They were working on it. Well, they've officially announced it. It's coming out in 2020, and it's going to be called the Peacock Network.
So, how much did that marketing team get paid?
Probably millions. Millions upon millions upon millions. And they were announcing shows coming out the yang. There was talk about an Office reboot. Pretty much anything that's tied to Universal and NBC, they're talking about rebooting. We got we're getting a Battlestar Galactica show from the Mr. Robot creator. Now, I know a lot of people were upset about this because it was originally the news came out that it was going to be a reboot. It is actually not a reboot. It is a new series with new characters set in the Battlestar Galactica universe. So.
Yeah, but
we know how well that turned out when they tried to spin it off the Razor. Remember when they tried to do Battlestar Galactica Razor and nobody watched it?
I forgot about that one.
It wasn't bad, but just nobody liked it.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the main crew, you know.
Listen, all I know is Mr. Robot is one of the best shows I've ever seen. And was it Sam Ismail, I think, is the showrunner, the creator there. So I will give it a chance.
You know?
What?
Don't they still have one more season of Mr. Robot?
Yeah, starts this next week.
The last season, that's right.
Final season 4, I think, or 5. I don't know, whatever. I think it's 4.
Yeah, 4.
Starts soon, and I'm really excited. The Boondocks, another show that I absolutely loved until Aaron McGruder left and the show went in the toilet. But Aaron McGruder is signed on for 2 more seasons. He's going to be redoing the Boondocks for a couple more years, but he's going to be streaming. It's going to be exclusive to HBO Max. So everyone prepare yourselves from pretty much now until eternity. Everything that you're really excited about will not be on cable, will not be on FX, will not be on Netflix or Hulu. It will be on a streaming service that you have to pay for to watch.
Yep. Everything's going to be exclusive content, and they're going to try and force you to buy 10 different streaming services.
So I say what we need to do is I'm going to start my own service. My own streaming service is basically me and a bunch of my friends are all going to pay for one channel, and then we're going to stream it together in a package deal where we only each pay for one and we get all of them.
Well, I mean, I guess that makes a lot of sense, Brian.
I mean,
until they find out that you're doing that, and then they'll cut you out. But
well, whatever.
I mean, I did try to cut my cable last week, and I only pay $5 less, but I get all the channels now, basically. Nice. But I'm saving $5.
Good work. So, I'm literally only paying $20 or $29 more a month for every cable channel that is ever made. Just I went to cut it down to just the internet, and it was like $100 for the internet I needed, and it was $130, $129 for every channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I think my internet's the same, but like it's supposed to be better during the day.
Whatever. All I know is Google Fiber needs to get up here into Seattle. $50 a month, 1 gig download. I'm in. Let's do it. And then let's see. Finally, last but not least, our last story of the night, maybe our best story of the night, is Jurassic World 3 has confirmed that not only are they bringing back all the stars from the Jurassic World movies, they are bringing back all the stars from the Jurassic Park movies. Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum,
the brother and sister,
and the main guy, Grant. He's coming back. What the hell's his name? I don't remember his name.
The original T-Rex.
No, Rexy died in the last movie. The volcano blew her. I think it was blew her up.
Oh.
Dr. Alan Grant. What is it? Neil. What is his real name?
That Asian guy still around?
Yeah, he's the main villain.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever. Dr. Alan Grant is going to be back as well. So they're going. This is going to be the last Jurassic World movie for a while. So they're going out in style.
Jackson going to be coming back, and he's going to be the computer guy again.
He got his arm eaten off. I'm fairly certain he's dead.
I don't remember a lot.
I can tell. But anyway, yeah, Jurassic World 3 coming next year. I think next year, 2021. I don't know. Whatever. It's coming at some point. Look out for it. And that is all the news that you may need to even care about.
If anything, we will force people to care about it because we talked about it for so long.
I don't even know if I care about it, and I talked about it the whole time.
Yeah, I cared enough. I mean, if that counts for anything.
It does count for something. All right, but it is time, Ryan, for us to move on to our next segment.
Would that be from the Faithful 50, Brian?
It would be from the Faithful 50.
Well, we have been upgraded to the Faithful... No, still the Faithful 1.
I don't think that's an upgrade. I'm pretty sure it's called a downgrade.
Yeah, Christine,
we were doing so well. We went from the Faithful 50. We went from the Faithful 50 to the Faithful 15, or the Faithful 5. And then we got it up.
You were like, oh no, people are going to get their feelings hurt. And so we went to 15.
Faithful 15, and now we're at the Faithful 1.
Yeah. So, if anything, Brian, it was a great 188 episodes of the Geek Dad
Report. I'm gonna give it a Faithful 1.5. I'm gonna give Christine a half because she at least commented.
Yeah, she like teased that she might do something, but I don't know. I'm just gonna say I'm a little disappointed in Christine and that she obviously doesn't care about my contribution to the show. So
I don't even think she can hear you right now. She's probably tuned out. So every time you talk, I heard she mutes it. I don't know how it works.
yeah, I think it's like when she hears my voice, it just doesn't like register maybe. So
Sorry, Ryan.
yeah, I just know Christine just doesn't view me as a person. So
Oh my god,
that's just how it is.
that's real deep.
So, but we do have a question from Jeff, the most faithful of
Oh,
all
you mean?
the faithful.
Oh, isn't Jeff like the guy who used to be your friend, but now he's my friend?
So he's kind of faithful, I guess, then, because I've known him since middle school, and we've done some cool stuff, and apparently now he's like you're a really good friend. So
Well, Jeff can come over and play with my toys because we live in the same state. You like sold out and moved to like Sweden.
yeah, exactly. So Jeff wants to know, Brian, what is a food or drink that you hated when you were a kid that you enjoy now? And his was it was artichoke dip.
Oh, that's easy. Beer.
But his wife makes an amazing artichoke dip apparently, and his life is not complete.
I hate artichoke. Bleh.
Really?
Dude, I hate artichokes.
Oh, I don't like artichoke like individual, but I do like it as a dip.
Disgusting. Beer. I hated beer as a kid. It's way better as an adult.
So what is it that you hated when you were a kid? Eating or drinking? I don't know. I think I drank almost everything.
That's a really good question. You know, I really like green beans now. I hated green beans as a kid, but I really like green beans now. Like, my wife will make this killer green bean casserole, and I'll just eat the whole goddamn thing.
So, my wife makes Brussels sprouts with like chopped bacon, and she like caramelizes like everything. Dude, I could eat my wife's Brussels sprouts that she makes.
Oh, whoa! It's a family show. I don't want to hear about. I don't want to hear about you chowing on your wife's Brussels sprouts.
We got way past family show.
You are a sick individual. You need help. You need Jesus.
You're the one that took it there. So, those Brussels sprouts that you cook in a pan, Brian.
I liked mustard when I was a kid, but I don't like mustard as an adult.
I don't like milk as much as I used to. I don't like cereal anymore. I don't even have like a glass of milk.
Yeah, every time I eat cereal now, I just feel gross and like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I just drink water.
I used to love bologna when I was a kid. Now I hate
it. Man, I'm trying to think.
Oh, you know what else? Fish. Tuna fish. I used to like tuna fish when I was a kid, and I hate fish now. I can't even stand the smell of it.
I hated broccoli casserole. I still hate broccoli casserole.
I hate that you can make broccoli into a casserole. That just sounds like a turd sandwich.
It was something everyone in my family loved, except for me. And they're like, "Oh, Ryan, how can you hate this? It's so good." Still tastes gross, family.
I used to hate steak sauce and au jus, and I love them both now.
Yeah. Ooh, like a hollandaise sauce?
Yeah, like well, that's different than au jus, but yeah, like a hollandaise sauce. But I like that when I was a kid. But like no, like you dip your like sandwich in au jus. Oh, you know what? I used to hate peppers and grilled onions, and I like them now.
No, I would not eat like a curry or like anything that was like super spicy.
Well, I can't eat anything spicy. I meant like I hated like bell peppers, like the non-spicy kind. When I was a kid,
yeah.
now
like
I'm just like
pepper.
load them up.
Eat a sweet pepper. But
Give me a Philly cheesesteak all day. Just load them up, peppers, onions, some beef. All right, there you go.
Oh,
there you go, Jeff. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Jeff.
Apparently, Ryan just likes to eat his wife's Brussels sprouts.
God damn it, Brian. You're so gross.
So you think your wife's sprouts are gross?
Holy crap.
Can't believe you.
What the hell happened?
You're terrible.
I looked and my mention. Oh, I accidentally clicked it. My notification thing had 182. I was like, maybe Geek Dad Report exploded. But no.
Listen, the only way this show explodes is if we like strap it with C4 and blow up our computers. Fuck. All right, on that note, we got a couple weekly recommendations before we get the hell out of here. Ryan, what do you got?
Oh, man. So we started watching The Brady Bunch on Hulu. My kids somehow got really into that. My wife and I rewatched Band of Brothers. If you haven't given that a chance yet, always a good one. And I also recommend Spider-Man Far From Home came out, and so we finally got around to watching that.
You're just now recommending Spider-Man Far From Home, the movie that made over $1 billion this summer?
Yeah, because I didn't see it until it came out on digital. So.
Yeah, and where did you watch that, Ryan?
Got to see that.
Where did you watch?
Talking about?
Where did you watch Spider-Man Far From Home at, Ryan?
Where? I watched it at home.
Yeah, but what did you use to watch it?
What did I use? Like my VUDU?
Your VUDU account? You watched Spider-Man Far From Home?
I'm pretty sure I used my.
So you're recommending the movie that you didn't see in theaters that you are bootlegging my password.
I was literally about to buy it, and I was going through the I was like on my phone. I was going through the Amazon thing, and I was just going to buy it off Amazon. And my son was like, "Dad, Spider-Man Far From Home. I think I saw it on VUDU." And he said that he was watching Ready Player One or something like that. And he's like, I think I saw it on that. And I was like just about to hit like the buy button for my own thing.
Ryan, I don't have the heart to tell you this, but I'm going to have to start changing my passwords because I'm only going to allow people on my VUDU account that contribute. Because Spider-Man was not even my purchase. I got $20 PayPal to me, and I'm like, why is this person sending me $20? And I call them, and he's like, my friend's like, oh yeah, because I bought Spider-Man Far From Home on your VUDU account. Here's $20. I was like,
really? I didn't.
Yeah, Ryan. So I want you to know that some people who have my password contribute to the movie selection and aren't just pariahs and vulture.
Well, all of those DC animated movies are courtesy
of my DC Universe app now.
Not all of them are on there.
We're going to have a talk after the show.
I don't think Batman Hush is on there.
So Ryan's recommendation this week is find a good friend who will give you his passwords to his ginormous movie collection.
I've never been non-appreciative of that.
Apparently not. You have not bought any movies. Listen, my buddy set the bar higher.
Not to do anything. I'm not even allowed.
It's a community VUDU service, Ryan, and you are not apparently part of the community anymore.
Hey, I am more than willing to contribute. I was just under the assumption that I was not allowed to.
I'm just under the assumption that I might have to change my password when the show's over.
Well, I guess this is a conversation we can have after the show.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. My recommendation this week, let's see. It's late over there. Okay, I had two.
My recommendation is don't borrow your friend's stuff because apparently they get all, jerky about it.
No, I'm not jerky. I just think it's fucked up, Ryan, that you go to Amazon and buy it for yourself, but then wouldn't contribute to the whole community watching Spider-Man that you didn't even pay for in the movie theater.
What is your recommendation for this?
My recommendation is you find a new co-host who isn't a dirty pirating, movie-stealing non-contributor as a friend. My recommendation this week is a new show that's new to me. It's been out for a couple of years on the Paramount Network of all networks.
A show that's been out for a couple of years.
Yeah, but I just found it called Yellowstone. It's like I said, it's on the Paramount Network. I've heard about it. I've heard it's good. I love Kevin Costner, so I always wanted to check it out. But I was looking for a show to watch before, something quick that we can blow through before all our shows come back for the fall. So me and the Mister sit down and watched it, and man, after the first episode, we were hooked. And now we've already blown through almost the first season in less than a week, and we're about to. They just 2 seasons on demand, so you can watch them both. If you have Comcast or cable, you can literally watch. If you have the Paramount Channel, they have both seasons available to watch. They have commercials, but they could let you fast forward through them, which is pretty cool. And don't let the fact that it's on a network fool you. I mean, it's not really a network, a cable network. It is basically an HBO like rated R show. There is swearing, there is violence, there is basically full nudity. It is an incredible show. What's it about? Well, that's funny you should ask. It is basically, think of The Godfather, but if it was in Montana with cowboys. That is Yellowstone. It is Cowboy Godfather in Montana.
What's the crime that the mafia...
There's not really crime, so like, I don't really want to spoil it. You kind of don't really realize that's what the show's about until about episode 4, but Kevin Costner is the largest landowner in Montana. And so he's got his fingers in everything, like the local cattle board, he's buddy with all the governors and the law enforcement, and and so the show's like, so there's a few different entities. So there's the land, like the business developers who want his land because they want to build houses and stuff on his land. There's the Indians, the Native Americans who feel that his land used to be their land, and they really want to wipe out all the white people in the valley and take back all their land. Which, you know what, it's kind of hard to see them as the villains in this series, all things considered. But the truth is they're all villains. That's the thing about this show, is everybody's kind of a bad guy. So in that way, it's kind of like The Godfather. You got a bunch of rival mafias, basically, who are all willing to backstab and lie and cheat and kill to get what they want, right? So it's I'm only 5 episodes in, 5 or 6, I think, but it's been really good, and I would really recommend it. It's like, if you like a good Western and you want to see something with a lot of intrigue that's not just political, but it's also like just everything, it's pretty good. And Kevin Costner is amazing, so.
I've seen the first 15, 20 minutes of the first episode, and my wife and I just got distracted. And we just got distracted and forgot about it. But I'm going to make sure that we get around to it, because we started it and we really liked what we saw.
But I mean, it's a good show. Like I said, they deal with a lot of the kind of, I don't know, cowboy mafia, I guess. But it also shows a lot of different, like, the kind of the dying life of a cowboy nowadays. And not just that, like, they deal with a lot of the, like I said, there's a lot of Native American stuff on here. They deal with a lot of the hardships and the real life things that happen on reservations. And and then they deal with a lot of greedy business owners who are like, listen, we know you own this land, but we want it. And we're going to do dirty, underhanded things to get it too. So it's just a really good show. I really enjoy it. I have no idea where it's going. I have no idea what's in store for season, the end of the season and season 2. That's why I kind of call it like The Godfather. It doesn't really have a point. The whole point is the family and just watching them work, right? And so it's pretty good. Highly recommend it on the Paramount Network. Yellowstone.
That's streaming. Is it just on that network, or is it on?
I don't know if it's. I don't think it's on Hulu or anything. I just found it on demand on my Comcast on my Xfinity. So
I'll look for it.
So all right. Well, unless you got something else, I think that's all the show we have for everybody tonight. So before we get out of here, Ryan, would you like to tell everybody where they can find us?
Yeah, find us on YouTube at the Geek Dad Report and Twitter at the Geek Dad Report, where Brian is BrianWest53 and I am Big Bruiser. We're on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report, and you can also find us on podhell.com and the iTunes store. So make sure that you like, subscribe, thumbs up, and then tell 5 of your friends, and try to just get them. And, Chewie wants to be a part of the show.
Oh,
shit.
Chewie just committed suicide. He's back.
He bounced back very quickly. So, just get 5 of your friends, or Chewie will eat your face off. Yeah. He does not like it. Nope. And you don't tell your friends about the show.
Nope, no he doesn't.
But that's it, everybody.
It's a big yawn. I think that's the end of the show. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. We'll try not to have so many gaps between our shows, at least until the end of the year. So until next week, everyone, stay awesome.
And stay nerdy. And don't borrow your friend's VUDU account, because they will...
Don't borrow it. What do you mean don't borrow? Like, you're out anything. You know what? Don't give out your VUDU account to anybody who's not willing to be a fucking contributor and put a little bit into the pie and just takes from everybody else like an asshole.
Even though that person specifically told you not to purchase anything because it tied into their credit card. But
I said don't buy anything because it's tied to my credit card. But if you're going to send me money, that's a different story. I was just telling you so your kids didn't accidentally rent a whole bunch of Dora the Explorer episodes, and then I'm on the hook for like $25. Ryan.
That would not happen. But
whatever.
Goodbye, everybody.
Till next week.